Czechia, or now it's the Czech Republic. In Europe, you know Europe, right? Germany, France, Italy, 德国那边 okay? East of there. So 德国那个 east,西边, no, the other one. 东边, yeah. All right. In Eastern Europe, there was a writer. This guy wrote a play about robots. This is the first time people used this word. This is from a long time ago, 70 or 80 years ago. Okay, so he wrote about these machine people, okay? And in his stories, machine people, right, they were just normal people, but they were slaves, and they could not think for themselves. Basically, like today, everybody who's doing this everywhere, and you can't do anything on your own. Now, right? People don't have their own brain anymore, it's all in here. So this is a robot, right? He wrote about these, and it became a big thing in science. People were trying to learn how to make these machines. So there's a lot of stories about this, very, very old stories. But once we had computers, right? When people first made computers, then there was a way to put this and this together. So now there was an idea for a robot that was not just a machine, it has a computer to think. Okay? Okay, so we have these ideas, and the whole world is excited. We have a lot of writers, people who write all kinds of books about how great robots are. Robots will do all of our work. We don't need to clean the floor, we have robots. We don't need to drive cars, we have robots. Right? Yeah. These ideas are not new. Right? All of these cars today, like Tesla and the ones that can drive themselves, right? Yeah. That's not new. These ideas are, 70, 80 years old. But now we have the technology, right? Now we can make it work. The problem is, people have written about it for a long time. And when people write about this, when they write stories, a lot of times they tell you, oh, this will be great, it'll be wonderful. Nobody has to work. Nobody has to go to school, right? He actually writes a story about that. This writer has a bunch of short stories in here. One of his stories is about how people can learn. You don't need to go to school, you don't need to write, you don't need to read, you just put on a helmet and all the information goes in, right? Awesome, right? No, it's horrible. Because that's the whole thing. A good science fiction how do you call this in Chinese? Science fiction? It's stories about science. It's a story, right? But it's not magic, 不是魔法，不是这样子, right? And it's not, boy and girl and they love each other and father says, no, it's not that, right? We have different kinds of stories. We have funny stories, we have happy stories, sad stories, we have magic stories, we have science fiction, stories about science and technology. But a good story about this doesn't just say, oh, science is good, science will make us better, will make us happier, it's all good, 都没问题，不是这样子，是看起来听起来很好很棒，但是一定有问题，你要小心，一定有问题。Alright? Any good story that tells you science fiction has to tell you this. Because if you're not careful, it will go bad. So like this story in here about people who don't need to go to school. You don't need teachers, you don't need to write, you don't need books. You just put a helmet on and everything goes in your head. 很简单，对不对？这很不好，因为这个人他们没有办法学习，有新的想法，他们没有办法了解，没有办法学新的想法。Okay, so there's always a problem. What about robots? If we teach a computer to do all of our thinking, well, what about the army? 有机器人, right? If we have a war and we don't want to kill each other, right? Because you're a person, I'm a person, I don't want to die, you don't want to die. So we use robots. The robot can kill other robots. 比较好，对不对? Yeah, but what about, where's my pen? Terminator. 这个一定有听过，有看过。They've made like 6 movies on this one now. Terminator, I'll be back. Oh, come on, you guys need to watch more movies, okay? And these are new. Some of these, this one, they made another one a couple years ago. So, stories about how we let the computer fight our wars. We give the computer guns. And what does the computer do with them? Kills us, right? The robots, they don't want to kill each other. They just kill us. So every time people try to use science and technology to make our lives better, we have to be careful because it's easy for it to go wrong, right? How about power? Making electricity, right? There's a lot of ways we can do that. We can use, right? We can use these things. The windmills that go around and they produce electricity. All right? We have, okay, what's the atomic symbol again? Nuclear power, right? What is it? I can never draw that one right. Nuclear power, right? 中文叫什么名字? Right, yeah. So, this can be good, right? Yeah, unless we do this. The mushroom cloud, right? Yeah. Yeah. We turn this into a bomb. Okay, this is a bomb, right? Yeah. When we use any technology, we have a choice to do something good with it or to do something bad with it. So the job of these people, the people who write these stories, their job is really to say, be careful. It sounds good, it looks good, but 有可能有很大的问题, right? So that's who this guy is. He wrote a lot of books and a lot of stories. His words are a bit old. The way he writes, it might be a bit hard for you to